Hey guys, welcome to the channel of JP Morgan, which is a banking institution from the United States. Today, we're gonna talking about an incident of this company, the London Whale. It was an incident about fail to control the risk of a large number of financial derivatives that happened in 2012. First of all, let's look at the overview of the company. JP Morgan is one of the largest financial holding companies and banking institutions in the world, which is leading global financial services. Jamie Dimon is the CEO of the JP Morgan. The company was always become the model of the world banking institutions. However, such a powerful party faced a huge amount of loss. And now let's introduce and analyze the whole process of the incident.
In 2005, JP Morgan Chase established a separate unit within the bank, and named it as Chief Investment Office (CIO), to in charge investing the asset deposits of the bank. Ina Chu, she is head officer of the CIO. In 2006, the CIO approved a proposal to trade in synthetic credit derivatives. These were a new trading activity at that time. The CIO used various credit indices to trade. In fact, Morgan was able to use CDX to hedge risk. It means to reduce risk, which is a different point of the JP Morgan from the same industry, and why they became in the later position. To be specific, CDX.NA.IG9 is one of key index. In there, CDX refers to credit index, NA refers to North America, IG refers to investment grade, because the index tracks credit default swaps, CDS, for 125 investment grade companies in North America. The IG9 series was issued in 2007. Morgan needs to use this index in order to short the market for the corporate bonds.
In the last quarter of 2011, CIO department of JP Morgan was asked to reduce the SCP and RWA. The RWA is a risk-weighted asset. Before this, we should know two worldwide financial issues. The first one, the financial crisis of 2008, was a global crisis that is considered by a worst disaster since the 1930s. It began in 2007 with a crisis in the subprime mortgage market in the USA and developed into an international banking crisis. The European debt crisis is a multi-year debt crisis that has been taking place in the European Union since the end of 2009. The two crises changed the world financial standard and regulation. Therefore, Basel III was promoted to supervise the internal banking system. In order to implement the Basel III, JP Morgan needs to reduce the SCP and RWA by a hedging strategy that is using a portfolio of different options.
Alright everyone, welcome to the 2012. If what happened before 2012 was a prologue, then this year is all the matter. Let's start with the timeline. In the early January, CIO considered to achieve their goal by unwinding some of the position in the SCP. At this time, one of the traders advised Ms. June that their unwind efforts had been costly. It's already lost $15 million at that time, and VAR model limits breached.
Then, on 23rd of January, the CIO's VR Limited breached to the company-wide level. CEO Dimon just temporarily approved increase the VR limit from 125 million to 140 million. From the model validation team tested, the new model to CIO implemented. The model only take few days. It did reduce the VR down to the original VR within the limited range. The reality is, the losses continued. At the end of January, market-to-market losses is about $100 million.
So what comes next? Just like shopaholic practice buy principle, CIO's trader continued to add to investment grade long position and also began to add substantial high yield short position. Because the trader hoped that the combined effect of this additional would allow them to earn some premiums. Using flattener strategy sounds a good idea. This is CDX betting curve will become flat. Buy short-term contract of CDX and sell the long-term contract for hedging. Yeah, and they lost additional 69 million US dollars. And through the most of March, they enjoyed to grow their SCP continually. In addition, because of lack of oversight, senior manager did not discuss much about SCP issue and RWA reduction strategy in the review meeting. At the end of the first quarter, the market-to-market loss reached 780 million US dollars.
Here comes to April. This huge London whale began to struggle before they strand on the banks. What the trader fears most is when he loses money and be tapped by the boss.
What's the problem? Clear all the positions.
Okay. In April of that year, the fire of European debt crisis was rekindled. The London wire losses still accumulating and generally attracted highly attention. On April 5th, London wire article published by Bloomberg, JP Morgan still made a statement as the market was currently dislocated, and that market-to-market losses were temporary and manageable. They were confident to SBC would mean revert eventually. An analyst call on April 13, Mr. Diamond stated that it's still under control, like a tempest in teapot. Maybe 13 is an unlucky number. This teapot broke, cause just 1 week after the earning call, the losses plummeted. At the end of April, $18 million losses over 6 trading days.
On May 10th, the firm disclosed that there were huge problems with the trading strategy for the SCD. In Mr. Diamond's words, the strategy was flawed, complex, poorly reviewed, poorly executed, and poorly monitored. To date, the ABC News report said the losses actually more than 6.2 billion US dollars. Now the question is, why these huge losses happening in risk prevention department? Is that ironic? We have 4 observations summarized as follows. The first one is CIO's judgment, execution, and escalation of issue in the first quarter of 2012 were poor. Secondly is the lack of internal control and oversight. As a result, significant risk management weakness developed within the CIO that allowed the trader to pursue their flawed and risk trading strategy. The third problem, also the surprised one, poor risk management. CIO did not have Chief Risk Officer until early 2012. The new CRO was learning the role at the precise time. The trader were building the ultimate problematic position. Furthermore, they are not responsible for monitoring limits, but to determine the accuracy of the risk limits measurements whenever the limits were breached. The last one is model management issue. Just like we mentioned before, the model review team was pressured by Woodward's department. There is a significant operation shortcoming with the model approval process. Here comes the conclusion. JP Morgan Chase was like a legend to the investment bank during the financial crisis. Surprisingly, it became a strained whale because of huge transaction loss in 2012. As an investment bank, the huge trading loss occurred in the risk prevention department, that's its CIO. The problem not only because of uncertainty of derivatives, but also comes from internal management control and department function dislocated. Maybe the London whale incident brought a huge capital loss and a negative impact on financial market, but at least it made people treat financial derivatives more calmly after that. More broadly, it strengthened the regulation and legislation on proprietary operation and derivatives. And our last page is our reference list.